Hey everybody, Andy Stickel here with another episode of the Law Firm Marketing Hacks podcast. Now, if you've ever seen any of my videos on YouTube, you know how I feel about FindLaw, and I think that you should never, ever hire them to market your law firm, and there are many good reasons for this. Now, on today's episode, I'm going to give you an even better reason. I actually spoke to an anonymous FindLaw employee. We did an entire interview, and you're going to hear right from the source what happens at FindLaw. And if you didn't know before, you'll hear exactly why you should never, ever hire them for your law firm's marketing. The employee's voice has been altered so that he can remain anonymous, so don't let the audio freak you out, but there's a ton of eye-opening information in here, so let's get started.
You're not just a lawyer, you're a defender of the defenseless. You possess a license that allows you to fight for those who can't fight for themselves. But while you're fighting for others, who's watching out for you? For far too long, lawyers have been fed line after line by big marketing companies, promising the world and delivering nothing. And even worse, think of all the people you were unable to help just because they didn't know you existed. That ends today. It's time to take the power back. This podcast will teach you how law firm marketing really works, how to not only get more clients, but how to get your dream clients, how to save time, how to save money, how to save energy by only focusing on tactics that work so you can grow your firm and help more people, and how to never get screwed by a marketing company ever again. My name is Andy Stickel, and I've helped thousands of lawyers, and I can help you too. This is the Law Firm Marketing Hacks podcast.
Do the majority of FindLaw clients make a return on their investment?
So, I don't think a lot do. I've seen situations where some have, but usually it's like one or two cases.
They got like one big case that they got lucky on.
yeah, exactly. And so, I don't think they really. The thing is, the directories do get contacts, and they can see their contacts. But in terms of like actual ROI, that's something that really we don't really go too deeply into. I think there's a reason for that. Most agencies are just kind of show the leads and not really go into like the actual return on investment portion. But yeah, I think just in general, I think that the more that they're spending, the more that they'll probably see a return on investment, because that FindLaw is going to pay more attention to that account. But if they're not really spending too much with us, or they're not really like a very high spend client or customer, then I don't really think they're not getting too much of a return.
So what happens? FindLaw just like ignores them?
Yeah, well, you kind of not just ignore them, but not as much attention. Like I've seen like escalation situations where just a customer wants to get something done, and they're a high spend customer, and it gets done like within a day,
right?
Things like that. But when it's kind of another situation, a lower spend client or customer, then basically it will probably take a week or two or something like that. Not as much attention is paid. Those customers aren't really paid as much attention to as other high spending customers. So
yeah. What's the biggest complaint that the clients are having? Why they would want to leave FindLaw?
Yeah, so kind of the biggest complaint that I've seen, and this is just from my experience, is one is the return on the investment. Two is the basically the products that they were sold. So basically, I've had a lot of customers tell me like they know that their sales reps are, their job is to sell them as much as they can, and some of them are really good at it. And a lot of times what they realize or what they complain about is that, they're sold something that they didn't need, or they were misled because just the way that there's so many like contract agreements, and the way that kind of products are kind of bundled together and put into contracts, and so at the end of so usually what happens is like at the end of the month, or whenever the billing kicks in, I've seen customers say, this wasn't really explained to me. This wasn't clarified. I didn't know what I was paying for.
Yeah.
So actually, a crazy story about this one customer in Alaska, basically, one account manager told me that, the sales rep basically got drunk with the client or the customer, and that's when he got the contract signed. And so, yeah, so afterwards, there was this big issue, and it was like thousands of dollars that the client wasn't paying, or wasn't paying his bills, or his invoice. And then yeah, so basically they had to credit that back, and then, or they had to not credit it back because they don't like doing that at all, but they wanted to swap in a different product that he was paying for before. So so that's really a lot of the complaints that I get, is just that just the type of, like, just the way that they sell, is just very confusing, and customers feel misled.
Would you say they're more focused on actually getting the sale rather than actually getting any results for the client?
Yeah, so they so basically, when it comes to sales rep, if the client cancels, like, that hurts their commission.
Yeah.
So they have an incentive to basically sell whatever they think is going to keep the client happy for the longest time without too much complaints. So website's easy, a directory is easy. Any other type of marketing, SEO or things like that, that's going to be a little bit more, something that they might not really try to push, because it's not that it's not an easy sell, but long term, when you have to show the results, it's if the client cancels, that kind of hurts their pocketbook. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What how many people do you guys have working in, like, the SEO side of things? Because one of the things you guys sell is SEO, right?
Right.
So how many people are actually working on client websites, like, for SEO?
Yeah, so we've just been hiring so many people, right? Like, our team just grew. So I would say at least over 30 people, and that's just for one team. And then we have two other teams. So we have, like, premier teams and all that other stuff. But yeah, so in total, there's at least about 30 people. That's just a number of 30 to 40 people just combined, because we have different basically different squads, and that doesn't even include, like, designers, and we do have, like, design vendors and stuff like that. But content, then we have content as well. So yeah, but just in terms of just, like, marketing, and just in terms of marketing, SEO, ads, anything like that. Yeah.
So it's like 30 to 40 people, but how many websites are those 30 to 40 people overseeing?
Yeah, so basically, the people that really oversee the website, any website changes, is the account manager. So any changes that needs to get done, and there's hundreds of account managers, and unless the customer actually pays for, like, a digital marketing product, then yeah, really those clients' sites, those new sites, aren't really going to be optimized at all for. We have our best practices. We do have our developers. Everybody's outsourcing and stuff like that. But we do have, like, our best practices and stuff. But in reality, even though we sell these products that are, that's kind of sold as, like, you're getting a new website, and it's supposed to help, with your with Google and search engine optimization, unless they specifically add on, like, that search engine optimization, that site is pretty, and that site's not really going to be, on the top, ranking on the top of Google. And I've seen clients who complained about that with me, where they said, I was sold this website, and I'm still not on the top, on the first page. So
yeah. Okay, so how many of the websites that actually pay for search engine optimization, how often do those get updated? Like, would you say those actually do get optimized the way that they should be?
So I would say they get updated about, like, biannually, or like twice a year. Just where sometimes unless they like a customer purchase like a refresh or something, a refresh or site refresh, then it's not really going to get updated too often. Besides like small changes, and that would just be the AM just reaching out and getting a developer to make some changes or content strategies.
So, but like, okay, because Google updates constantly, right? So you guys, if Google makes it an algorithm change, you guys don't just go in and fix the websites. They actually have to like ask you to fix them, or how does that work?
Yeah, so if there's like a change, an update or something like that, usually it's notified to the team, like the entire team knows, the account managers knows, and then it's usually a project that's going to be basically spearheaded by like our performance teams and things like that. Those people who like run tests, whether it's like site speed or whatever. And then usually there'll be like a mass project that just goes and where they just kind of mass audit and do these mass audits of these sites and make whatever updates and changes. But this like kind of just like a personal, like just kind of going account by account. It's usually not like in that sense. Like there's not going to be a Google update occurs and then account managers are going to go in and then just broadly just go into each of their customers' accounts and update their websites. It's usually going to be like a big project that's like a big project where all the hundreds of sites are going to be updated on a mass scale. So that's why it doesn't happen as often, or it takes kind of a long time for those updates to happen. So it's a little bit of a lag.
How long does it take typically?
So typically, as it goes through the process and goes through approval, I would say it usually takes a couple of months. It's not that great, but yeah, it usually takes a couple of months, and it also depends on when the project start date is. So if it's something that they were working on or they got alerted to, like 4 months in advance, then usually that's the that's usually like the timeline that it takes to get done. But if it's something that was like, if a Google update occurred like like a year ago and we're just getting on top of it, that basically means that the client, that update is not going to take place until the 3 or 4 months pass, combined with the year that the update occurred. So but we're typically, I've seen, they are, up to date with industry, updates and stuff like that. I mean, every company now has a Google rep, but sometimes, those Google reps, they don't really articulate that to, the businesses and agencies that they're working with. So you kind of have to just stay on top of that yourself as a company.
Yeah. So you're saying that basically an update could hit today, and it might take a year and a half before my site gets updated to actually fix whatever that update might have hit?
Yeah, so basically it would take, so we have like a priority, what they call like a priority checklist. So if it like whatever is priority in terms of like the business gets like first. So, Google update.
In the business.
So just like the company, so like a business, a priority would be like what's, on a scale of, what's a priority in terms of, what's a business priority. So if we don't take care of this priority right now, it's going to hurt the business. And so, that really gets put. So if there's, say, for example, there's an issue that's slowing down production or production of websites or something like that. That would be, a priority one versus kind of, making updates to websites based on algorithm changes, right? So that's kind of like, how they look at it. And, these projects will get done, but, or these updates will get done, as algorithm changes and stuff like that. But, yeah, it depends on just kind of where the company feels it, in terms of priority.
What percentage of clients would you say are actually that have the SEO, where you guys work on their SEO packages? What percentage would you say are actually ranking on the top of page one for the keywords that they want to rank for?
So I think that would also depend on how old, like a percentage. That's a good question. So I definitely wouldn't put it like in the 90% range at all. Yeah, definitely wouldn't put it in the 90% range. Um, even
So you
giving
mean
it.
90% of people are not ranking?
Yeah, I don't think they're ranking just from this is just from the customers that I've spoken to. They complained about not ranking and not being on the first page.
Do you
So
guys do any rank? Do you guys like track rankings or anything like that, or is that like how does that work?
we do track rankings, and usually, I've had some clients, kind of give good feedback and say that, we did get them on the first page, but it's so rare that, it really doesn't come up a lot, so
It's
we
so
do.
rare that you get them on the first page.
Yeah, like it's really niche, yeah, and it's very rare, and like most customers that I've seen their websites, yeah, they're not really on the first page, so that's why they try to add on a different product to kind of boost the numbers of the contacts. Yeah.
Sure, makes sense. Do they ever like add them in like the directories? Do they ever add them to categories that they don't actually practice just to get more phone calls?
So I know that they do. I don't think they do that, but I do think that they add like when they set up a call tracking number. I think that there's probably like call tracking numbers that's reused. So when it's tracking like the contacts and stuff from either directory or a website or whatever else attorneys profiles, and I think I know they charge extra for a call tracking number, but I think sometimes it's like call tracking number shared across. It depends on like the product specs and things like that. But yeah, so sometimes you can see like the same call tracking number on I think a directory or website. So that yeah. So
Oh, so they'll put the phone number a lot of different places and then take credit for all the calls, basically.
yeah, so basically it's just like, well, this is what this is what you're getting with everything, all your products. In some instances, if it's like a special product that digital marketing product that they order, they might get a different call tracking number. I know some product, yeah, but for the most part, just because I know it probably costs more as well for them to give these call tracking numbers with using the vendor that we use. So yeah.
How many clients do you think that FindLaw has that they're doing SEO for? I know you said it was hundreds. Is it hundreds or is it thousands?
So I would think I would say it's over 100. But it's definitely not within the thousands. So we do have like thousands of websites. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I know all those sites are like getting SEO. Like there's not like a digital marketing specialist, SEO specialist, on all of those websites. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's basic because there's so many, but there are customers that do get it. And it's probably over the hundreds, but a lot of those products sometimes cancel or the client cancels.
So that's really interesting. So do most lawyers think that they're getting search engine optimization and they're really not?
So what I've seen is, most clients do believe that they're getting, they're going to get the best practice, right? I mean, everyone has the best practice, SEO best practice, but they're not getting like, let's say, special content, deliverables or anything like that. So it's just basically you're getting a website that's going to be built with best practice, but I think that's what the clients expect. But they're not really going to get like this advanced like backlinking and all that stuff unless they buy like an additional product, because it's all about like, what I've noticed, it's all about like, just being able to create products, and just sell more products, right? Upsell. So even if it's like something as standard that you should be doing with a new website, it's like, well, we're going to make that an additional product or call it something special. Yeah.
So do you guys, okay, so you mentioned backlinks. So basically there's of all the websites that you guys have, only a few are actually getting any backlinks.
Yeah, so I would say that not a lot out of the thousands, not a lot are really getting optimized for that, because a part of like the digital marketing product, you have your earned links, you have your organic links, or not organic links, and so that all of that specs of a product goes into like a special digital marketing product. But for the thousands of sites, that isn't included. So it's just like they're just getting their content and they're getting their site map, they're getting their pages of their site, but they're not getting that whole product or packaged together.
So do you think that the salespeople are kind of misleading lawyers, basically thinking like, almost saying, hey, look, if you buy this website, we're going to optimize it so you'll show up on page one, kind of knowing that they're not going to get nearly what they need to get on page one, and the lawyers kind of go into it thinking that they're getting an optimized website that's using best practices in the industry, and they think that that's going to be enough, and that's kind of part of the reason they sign up. Do you think that that's happening?
So I think that that's definitely a component, but I feel more it's about they try to sell it as, look, you have a bad website that's not designed well, and so we're going to give we want you to purchase this website from us because we're going to make it designed well and make it to where it's optimized to convert well, but not necessarily.
You're selling them the ranking on it, you think, that they're going to show up in Google?
Oh yeah. So that's definitely added onto their sales pack or to their sales probably pitch. But but definitely they definitely are not going to give that expectation that it's going to be on page. It's going to rank well just after it launch. Because they know that would just mean that the client would cancel if they don't see it ranking well. So.
Sure. No, but what I'm saying is that the client is kind of under the understanding that they are going to rank, and the salesperson is maybe not telling them that they're not going to rank, but in reality, we all know that they're not going to, kind of thing, except for maybe the client.
Yeah. So they definitely, I don't say exactly what you're saying. They don't give that full picture, right? They don't say like, hey, realistically, you're not going to be ranking on the first page, but they kind of just sell it as this is just a better site just because, it's just better than your old site. So, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you said industry best practices in the industry. Who comes up with those? Like, where do you guys get like where do you guys get your strategies from, and who's actually like staying on top of what the best practices are? Because I mean, stuff changes so fast.
Yeah, and I've been with the company about 2 years, and what I've seen is that they send like their people that have been there longer to like conferences at times, but that was recently that I started to see that happen. Before, I never really. I'm sure it's been happening a while, and they do send people to conferences and stuff like that. But I don't really see like changes really made to the best practices that often. So it's like they'll go to the conferences and they'll come back and present it to their team, but I don't really see it being like implemented right after they come back from these conferences. So
how outdated do you think the strategies are?
So outdated, I would say about, maybe a year or two. Because I mean, when I found your channel, like I was like just shocked, just all the information that I wasn't seeing, like we had, just in terms of updating, how frequently you post new updates and stuff like that. Like that doesn't happen. I don't see that at all happening. Maybe it might be like chat, like between some coworkers or something. Like it might be like hey, did you see this update or something like that? But in terms of it going to like the top management and then getting distributed, the information getting distributed, back to the bottom, back to everybody else, I don't see that happening too often.
Yeah.
What do you guys do for local SEO? Do you guys have a separate local SEO strategy to get people ranking in the maps?
Yeah, so they do have, they'll look at, everywhere that, the client has a local presence and things like that. they'll optimize their Google Plus, or I mean, they'll optimize their Google My Business and things like that. Look at social media, look at other websites that are either linked to the site, linked to the client site, or they'll look at, but really, they have they call it like local presence and stuff like that. But I don't really. It's just basically like a standard step of procedures, like an SOP, right? Like you have this but in terms of implementing unique strategies to really get really to optimize for local presence. I don't really. It might happen. Some people might be doing it, but it's not really that in depth.
So, do they do anything with citations or citations or any optimization of the Google profile, meaning uploading pictures or descriptions and services and things like that?
Yeah, so they do have an SOP, and they have a things for citations and things like that. But to your point, I don't really know if it's how deep they go into it all, right? It's just basically everything that there is about SEO. There's a documentation on it, and that information is readily available. But the point is that most of what FindLaw is basically it's a big company, a lot of customers, and so what I feel is that sometimes is that they rather us just get work done than actually try to make it be perfect. And so that's why I feel a lot of even though all that information is there, and because it's easy for everybody to see and get that information, but in terms of just it actually getting done, I just think that most of our people are just they have so many customers that a lot of times it probably isn't getting done, to be honest. So
got it. Is it it's really just a cookie cutter strategy for every single client, regardless of location or anything, or practice area or a competition?
Yeah, so there are different strategies in terms of just exactly what you kind of just said about being local. So the sales reps are supposed to kind of go into the competition and things like that, but in terms of the actual implementation, it is kind of really just down to what's the best practice, and did you do 1, 2, 3? Did you complete this checklist? And that's pretty much what I've seen. Just again, I don't see what everybody does. I don't see their day-to-day work, but just in terms of what's given to us, it's just mostly a checklist.
Gotcha. Is there oversight to make sure that when you guys go through it, that does anybody ever go back to make sure that it's right, or is it because it's funny? We've analyzed clients that used to be with FindLaw, and we looked at their websites and we found some crazy stuff. When they were on FindLaw, we found one website actually where we ran it through Copyscape. Which, do you know what Copyscape is?
Yeah, I think I saw it. Actually, I think I found out about from you, actually.
So we ran it through Copyscape, and every single word on their website was on 5 other FindLaw websites. It was completely duplicated. The only thing that was changed was the name of the law firm and the phone number.
Yeah, I definitely saw that from you. I think so honestly, I can see that because the amount of websites that they push out and the content they push out. I think you had talked about it, just basically the only thing that was different was the state or something, or
the
location,
law firm name, different things like that.
Yeah, but basically it was still the same content, the same sets and structures and stuff like that. Yeah, so I've seen some times where I've seen content completely missing, and they have to go back and get that filled in. Other times where it's just a paragraph or something like that. So there definitely is some times where it's not. I think they do kind of use the same content, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they do put out good good content. Other times I've seen less quality work. So it's kind of a hit or miss.
All right, final question, and this is the big one. If your brother or sister was starting a law firm, would you recommend that they go with FindLaw, or would you recommend they find another company?
So I would recommend that they, some of the products that they do have, like in terms of directories, I think that is, I would say definitely get on that just for their, their local, their local presence and things like that. It's good traffic. But in terms of like their marketing, I would say to go for a smaller marketing firm, one that'll be a lot more dedicated. Just in terms, you'll know that they're basically taking a very personal look, personal touch, and just everything that they touch that comes when it comes to your, your website, your SEO, your paid marketing, paid advertising, everything like that. So I would definitely say, go with them, go with FindLaw just to get, you get on the directory and things like that. But for marketing, for content, I would recommend that they go first. Maybe even hire somebody in-house too, like if they really want to make sure that it's done right. But I would definitely say the smaller the agency, the better, honestly. So that's what I would recommend. Yeah.
All right. One bonus question. Is there ever a conscious effort made to prevent clients from outranking the FindLaw? Because when you search for one thing FindLaw has done really well is SEO for themselves, where if you search, Baltimore personal injury attorney or Chicago DUI lawyer or anything like that, FindLaw is usually in the top, couple on Google. Do they ever make an effort to make sure that they stay there over clients?
Oh yeah, so I think I know what you're talking about. I think you talked about this too with sometimes we place like those badges and things like that on there.
No, what I mean is that because FindLaw's listings, like if you search like Baltimore personal injury attorney, for example, in the organic listings, the FindLaw directory listings show up. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is, does FindLaw, like if you guys have a personal injury attorney in Baltimore, right? Mm-hmm. Do you guys make a conscious effort to make sure that your attorney will not outrank your listings on the first page of Google for that keyword?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're saying. So I don't know if it's a conscious decision or if that's something so we have teams that focus on like the directory marketing, and then we have teams that focus on on the customers. And so just, generally from what I've seen, I don't think that anyone pays in mind, in terms of FindLaw, but I know that FindLaw might pay attention to that in terms of just trying to beat out the competition. But I know just for like the actual client-facing employees, I don't think that they really think about like how's the FindLaw director or FindLaw directory performing, stuff like that. But yeah, that's a good point. Just in terms of that competing with, and so we actually got this. I actually got this question too, just about other customers asking, are you guys working with my competition? And like, they know that their competitors are also with FindLaw. They can see them on their listed in the directories and things like that. So that question does come up a lot. And they try to do some, basically make it to where either account manager or somebody's not working with the same same law firms in the same area. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent that it goes to.
So as the account manager, but the company will still work with the same type of law firms in the same area.
Yeah, exactly. And the sales reps are they'll go to the same the same law firms and things like that. But it depends. If they feel like maybe a sales rep might not do it, or because they feel like their customer might ask about it, like, hey, what's this guy doing? What's this what the guy down the street is doing? But yeah, if it's more money for them, sales, so they'll go where they can make a commission. So.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, I was pretty in depth. Yeah, I would just say that if anyone's thinking about FindLaw, that you kind of have to pay close attention, right? You can't just take it as we're the experts, so I'll just take your recommendation for it, right? I think you do have to learn a little bit about marketing. You can't be just you can't be ignorant about just marketing and just kind of rely on somebody selling you or telling you that this is what you need to do and this is going to work perfectly, or this is going well, that's going well, and because it's a big company and because, like every big company, corporation, sales is important. And so whatever they have to do to make a sale. And to be honest, I think that it's more about, with the recent changes, it's more about client relationship management. So, their job is just to make sure that you're happy and sweet talk, making sure that you're happy and talk you into staying on board and things like that. To just make sure that you're aware of that. And really, if you need to get outside opinion, feel free to do that. Always recommend that. But yeah, at this point, it's just, you got to be really pay attention when you're working with big companies. That's with everything, not just marketing, but any marketing at all. I would say make sure you pay attention.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, awesome, cool. All right, I'm going to. I appreciate you helping you. I appreciate you going over all this. This is really interesting. I've never actually talked to somebody that works at FindLaw. So,
hey, thanks for listening to the Law Firm Marketing Hacks podcast. Remember to subscribe and to leave a review. Do you ever feel like you're lost when it comes to marketing your law firm? Like you just don't know where to start, or maybe you're confused by all the information out there, all the conflicting information? Well, I've helped lawyers, thousands of lawyers just like you, grow their law firms with proven strategies, and I can help you too. There's no need to waste any more time or any more money on strategies that don't work, or strategies that you're not even sure if they're going to work. Well, I've tested so many strategies and I know what works, and more importantly, I know what doesn't work. I can show you exactly how to get more clients, more cases, and make more money for your law firm. There's no more guesswork. When you work with me, you'll have a proven strategy that will help you grow your law firm, and you'll have access to an expert who's helped thousands of lawyers, walking you through the entire process. So let's work together. Book a free strategy session with my team today. Just go to chatwithandy.com. That's chatwithandy.com and fill out a quick survey that lets me learn a little bit about your law firm. Then book a call and talk with my team. You'll learn exactly how this strategy works and if it'll work for your law firm specifically. You'll never waste time or money or get screwed by a marketing company ever again. Now, on this call, we're going to do three things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn about your law firm. And then the second thing is we're going to find out if you're actually a good fit to work with us. And then the third thing we're going to do is if we can help you, and if you're a good fit, then we're going to tell you what we have to offer. So you don't have to worry. There's no hard sell or anything. My team, the people that you'll talk to are not salespeople. They're just designed to kind of identify, can we help you and are you a good fit? And then they'll kind of make the offer and let you know if it's something if it's something you want our help with. So go to chatwithandy.com today and book your call, and I look forward to working with you.